All ready?
Ready to go.
All right. Can you hear me?
We can.
All right. Well, welcome to the Rotary Club of Kerrville. Please post on Facebook that you're participating so the world will know that you are attending Rotary today. We'll start out with the invocation, and David Reese will lead them or do the invocation.
Am I good?
You there, David?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Please pray with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessings of health and safety during these uncertain times. We ask your blessings for all our first responders and healthcare professionals as they fight this pandemic on the front lines. We thank you for the ability to meet together as Rotarians to further the ideal of service above self. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, David. All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
You can
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We have guests today.
I think so.
Yeah, we do. We have a couple guests today. If you'll unmute yourself and introduce yourself, that'd be great. Except for Mr. King. Mr. King, you're going to be introduced. Don't be shy.
Hello, everyone. Paul Huckton here again. Just joining y'all again for an online meeting. Had to come see Stephen do his presentation anyway. So.
Okay, Paul, welcome. All right, other guests. Is that it? Okay, Paul, we're glad you're with us today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Clint, will you introduce our speaker, please, sir?
Thank you very much, President Charlie. And I have to comment that when you get a haircut, you certainly get your money's worth. Now, I'll say that.
Well, I could fluff it up a little bit.
Yeah, you better do whatever you can, I think. Well, let me start out by saying that those of us who like day trips have probably been out to the far reaches of the hill country. And if you get as far as Camp Wood on the Nueces River, there's a fabulous barbecue place that is historic in Texas called King's Texas Smokehouse. But you have to go all the way to Camp Wood, or did, to enjoy it. Well, lo and behold, I opened up one of the local newspapers recently and found out that King's Texas Smokehouse was coming to the Hunt store in Hunt. And in fact, is there now. And I was amazed that I don't have to drive to Camp Wood anymore, even though that's a good drive. Turns out that the owners of the original Texas Smokehouse live actually in Kerrville. And their daughter, and I'll let him explain more, got one of our scholarships when she graduated from Tybee. And so without more, let's give a warm online Rotary welcome to our speaker today, Stephen King, who will tell us about his new business in Hunt. Stephen?
Where'd you go, Steve? There he is.
I'm here. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's nice to see so many friends and folks that I already know, just from over the time and relationships we have. A fun story, Rotary's been important to our family over the last few years. I'm going to start off with the story telling you about my son. Benjamin King, about 2 years ago, got invited to a luncheon for a citizenship award from you guys. And he won the citizenship award, went up there, got the scholarship to Schreiner University. And when he got in the car that afternoon, his sister Bella had picked him up. She's a junior at the time, and she's trying to hustle any scholarship money she can and working her tail off. And Benjamin gets in the car and says casually, because Benjamin's a really laid back kid, he says casually, I got a scholarship today for $20,000. And Bella texts me and she says, hey, Benjamin's confused. He thinks he got a scholarship for $20,000 in the 5th grade, and that just can't be possible. And I said, well, kiddo, I think he did get a scholarship for that much money. And she was just like, what in the world? He's in the 5th grade? The boy just walks around as a good character and he's a good citizen. He gets a scholarship. And Benjamin's, every time we drive by Schreiner University, he's looking over there. David Reese, shout out to you. But he's looking over there. He's like, yep, I already got this all planned out. So, and then his sister won a great scholarship from you guys this year as well. And so thank you, Rotarians, for being just faithful to our family. So it's been great. Anyway, what you're doing in service before self and serving other people shines through in this community. And we, as a small family and business owners, are grateful for that. I'm a very tired guy because we're running 2 operations now. We started out in 2018. We bought a smokehouse over in Camp Wood. It was called the Nueces Country Smokehouse at the time. And we had the vision. I had been in summer camping for the last 20 years. We live and work at the Texas Lions Camp. And for the last 20 years, we had been at the Lions Camp, and I was the summer camp director over here, the director of operations at Lions Camp for about the last 20 years. And I always had the idea that someday when I retire, I'm going to open a really cool burger joint in a place that serves amazing sandwiches. And one day my wife, after 20 years of hearing this, says, why don't you just do it? And so we got the idea that maybe it's time to retire from camping and let's go live the dream. So we took some money out of savings and invested our retirement into ourselves, and we bet on ourselves. I, at the time, was carrying a coin around and a poker chip that I would give to each one of the campers, or give to campers who really needed some encouragement. And on the back of that poker chip, it said the word grit. It said, you've got what it takes, kid. I'd bet on you. And on the other side, it just had my name on there so I could give it to kids who needed to be inspired or needed to know somebody was willing to bet on them, and they had what it took. And that coin haunted me. It was walking in my pocket, and it's like, man, for the next year or so, I thought, man, are you going to bet on you? Are you going to take the risk and jump out there into the business world? So we decided to do it, and we've had great success. We bought the Country Smokehouse and turned it to King's Texas Smokehouse, where we really concentrate on making unique, old-fashioned smoked meats. We make our own bacon, we make jerky, we make all kinds of sausages, summer sausage. We make smoked meats, and we make a variety of things, and then we take those meats and we create really amazing sandwiches that we sell with all those different varieties of things that we produce in the smokehouse. In the early parts of this year, as COVID started coming on, John Dunn and I started talking. I was doing meat deliveries from Camp Wood, bringing stuff over to the Kerrville area and delivering throughout Kerrville because people were having trouble getting to the grocery store. So I said, well, let's just start taking it to people and making sure we meet there. And John Dunn, who owns the Hunt store, took notice of this, and he said, hey, Stephen, come visit with me. So we got together and decided that maybe it would be a good idea to bring a King's Texas Smokehouse to the Hunt store and open up the cafe and meat market. And so we opened up the cafe and the meat market, and we really focus on trying to put out food that's going to wow people when it comes out. And so when you go to the Hunt store now, there's some unique offerings. As I go to Hunt, people tell me all the time, we want the Hunt store to be what it used to be. It used to have a meat market. It used to have great jerky. And so we're trying to get, well, our goal is to get that back in action. And we've been fairly successful in doing that so far. We're still working out the kinks every day with new cooks and new people and trying to onboard a business per se. But in doing that, we've got a meat case and full meat case in there. We've got different kinds of sausages that we're making in Camp Wood and bringing over. We've got a variety of different things that we can do and offer now at the Hunt store that we haven't had in a while in Hunt. And so I think when you go in there, be able to look around, look for the meat counter, look for the jerky, look for the sausage, and then a full new menu out at the Hunt store. Yesterday, we had a gentleman come in from Good Eats, Texas that gave us some publicity, and Good Eats, Texas stopped by to do a review. He really fell in love. He took a whole lot of pictures, and we just kept making sandwiches and bringing them out. And I think he was pretty impressed. So I think that should give some good press to our area from what he's doing. So you can find that at goodeatstexas.com, and he'll have some information on there. But we have a full menu. We have offering a sandwich. The most popular one in Hunt so far is the Cuban sandwich, an old-fashioned pulled pork that has no sauce. It's cooked crispy, and then it's put on a French roll with kosher pickles, a little mustard, Swiss cheese, and our homemade ham. And then it's pressed. It's a pressed sandwich. Also for a great sandwich called the Beast, which has got brisket, bacon, sausage, jalapenos and onions that are grilled, melted pepper jack cheese, pickles, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and it's on a jalapeno cornbread. And so it's just a variety of things that we can offer. So we've been in the business for about this, we're going in our third year, and we're growing a little faster than I'd expected. And so I'm hoping we can keep up here in the community and keep the people at Hunt happy. We do have some things coming up. There are a lot of music. We're bringing music back to the Hill Country. We've got, I put out the word with a few key members of the community that are really into the music scene and bringing on and trying to figure out how to get some great bands and great music, live music. And so we have everything from a variety of bands that are doing some oldies hits, 50s, 60s, and 70s, to a rockabilly band, to country and western. And there's just a variety of offerings there. I think this weekend we're also going to have, I saw Greg Peschel in here. I'm talking to Ethan Peschel right now during the meeting to try to get Ethan a spot on our stage to come play the guitar. And so it should be a fun event. So I think I'm better at answering questions. So if you have questions at this point or want to know any more about who we are or what we do, I'd be glad to field those and answer them for you.
Stephen, I have the first question.
Okay.
On your menu, your largest sandwich is called the Clint. And I want to know how you came up with that name.
Okay. So when we were, the reason the smokehouse came around, or one of the fun events of the smokehouse coming around, is one night I was sitting around and I saw Facebook come up, and it was from Clint Fiore with Texas Business Buyers. And Clint said, hey, there's a burger joint for sale out in this area. And I was just driving around, basically kicking tires, had no interest in making this become a reality. And I sent him a message and said, hey, Clint, tell me more about this business. And he said, well, you have to sign a confidentiality agreement and I'll send you the information. And then it started becoming a reality rather quick. But as we started looking through the information, I said, man, I don't know if I can afford that. And Clint with Texas Business Buyers went through and made it real easy to get introduced to people that might help us with funding, to get introduced to the SBA loan. And then Clint eventually said, you know, I like you. I believe in this business. I think it's a worthwhile venture. I'm gonna do that. But if I join you in partnering with this business in a small aspect, then I want a sandwich named after me. It's like, okay. So we built the craziest sandwich I could think of at the time, and I put variations of it in. So the Clint, and then when we put it on the menu, we put, the original menu didn't have any description. All it said was, the Clint, do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? And it was the old quote there. And then it had no description, so that people just ordered it off the menu. And if they were willing to take the risk, they would be greatly rewarded for that sandwich. But it's a ridiculous sandwich. It has 3 hamburger patties. So it's a patty, then it's cheddar cheese, then it's sausage, then it's a patty, then it's pepper jack cheese, then it's ham. Then there's another patty, there's Swiss cheese, and then there's bacon. And there's pickles, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, 2 onion rings, and a top bun. You've got to skewer it with a steak knife all the way through it to get it to stand up straight. If you visit our Facebook page, there's one on there today that we made for the guy last night. It was just one of those sandwiches like, okay, Clint, you want a sandwich? We'll put the biggest, craziest sandwich on the menu that we can think of. And so we went for it.
Other questions for Stephen?
Hey, Stephen, this is Bill Tucker. I'm the one that drove the truck on the Badlands bike tour, so if you remember me.
Yes.
talking about your music, have you been talking with Junior Pernada by any chance, who lives out there at Hunt?
I haven't gotten Junior on the schedule yet. Right now, we've got Exit 505. We've got the Collector's Edition is coming out. I'm pulling up my group now. Collector's Edition is coming out, and they're hits, and they're playing this weekend. And then we've got typically Friday nights will be pickers and grinners, you know, single solo acts or people starting out. On Friday nights right now, on Saturdays. And then on Friday nights, we're going to try to put in the bigger bands. We've got a variety of those coming in. But I bet we can get Junior on the schedule at some point. But this weekend, we have Michael Francis, and he might be joined by Ethan Peschel. We're still working to try to get the details on that. We've got a Collector's Edition, and then we have Stan Morris, who owned the Mute Melody Corner. If you haven't seen Stan play, Stan's delightful. Stan takes requests, he interacts well with his audience, but he's there Sundays for the after church crowd from about 1 to 4. And then next weekend, we've got a band that's very local to the Hunt community, and that's Blue Oak Band. And that's a gathering of just guys that are in Hunt, that are excited about the store, excited about us. They approached us and said, hey, we want to come put on a gig over there. And then Collector's Edition will be playing on Saturday, July 4th. So that's coming up for the July 4th weekend, the 3rd and 4th. I know we're competing against Robert Earl in the park, but for people that want to avoid some of the bigger crowds and the festival kind of feel, we'll have some, you know, a place that's a little more out there and maybe not as populated for some music out there. So, and then coming up on the July 10th, we've got a group called the Garrett Morris Band, which is a young guy that's coming out of Houston, has a really good record out right now, and he's going to be promoting that. So it seems to be a good lineup so far, and it's coming together.
Thank you.
Stephen, I have a question.
Yeah, hey, David.
Hey, are you familiar with the Big Seed?
I am.
I was just thinking as you were talking about music and all the entertainment that's going on, I don't know if you've considered becoming involved with that, but it might be a great way to get some students, some younger folks out there to the Hunt store, because I know it usually takes them a couple of years when they first get to Shriner, if they're not locally, to figure out that there's a place out there called the Hunt store, and it's a good place to have a good time.
No, that would be great, and it'd be a great thing to do. We've got a lot of weekends, especially when the Shriner guys are back in. There'd be an opportunity for some events in the fall. The fall seems to tourism slows down, and we'll need to generate something to bring people out. And so hopefully
Right.
Events like Big Seed will do that for us.
Just for your information, we had to adjust our semester, and we're starting August the 12th,
Wow.
which is earlier than normal, as I'm sure you're aware. And we've gone to 2 8-week blocks during the semester so that the students will take fewer classes, 8 weeks at a time. They can take up to 2 to 3 classes. And so we're cutting down on the number of classes so that we can accommodate the social distancing restrictions for all the students. They won't be in as many classes during an 8-week block. Then they'll have a break and then another 8 weeks. So we'll do 2 of those in the fall, or at least that's the plan, and then 2 of those in the spring.
Well, I know that Shriner's done a lot to promote live music in the Hill Country, and I've seen a lot of the shows and things you guys are doing out there. I'd love to partner with you on stuff or student activities. We're partnering this weekend with one of the sheriff's campaigns for a meet and greet and any other community events that we can get involved in. Big Seed would be another great one that we can partner and make sure that the Hunt store and the community that's in the Hunt store stays as the community of Hunt. And that's our goal, is to make a place that's central. It is the economic and geographical center of Hunt, Texas. So as many students as we can get out there to visit and to support Hunt and the community, that'll help us to be able to do more to support the community that we're in.
Absolutely. Well, I was thrilled to find out I don't have to drive all the way out to Camp Wood to get some of your barbecue.
Thank you very
much.
much.
That's a bad thing. It's just, it takes a little bit more time.
I'm going to be right after this meeting. I'm loading up. So what we do is we move supplies. I move smoked meats from Camp Wood to Hunt because the Camp Wood has a full-on meat production facility. And then I move grocery items and fresh vegetables and things I can't get in Camp Wood from Hunt out to Camp Wood. So it partners best for both businesses. But yeah, it's a 3-hour round trip for me to make that happen
Yeah.
3 times a week.
I'm assuming, I didn't hear some of your presentation, but I'm assuming, do you have the ability to like do a food truck type venue yet?
I don't right now. I'd have to figure out how to get a food truck and licensing.
Just curious because we're going to have those spots available at the Trailhead Tavern that we're going to be opening up, which is in conjunction with Pint and Plow. But they're not going to be serving food, so we're going to have food trucks as the food venue.
Is that at the little house, the rock house that's up at the corner of the property? Right.
No,
Okay.
it's going to be out back where the pavilion is, like by the
Okay.
Park Street entrance. They've done some demolition and some reconstruction and some new construction. They built restroom facilities. They're going to have spots for a couple of food trucks, etc., and a live music venue.
Okay.
And that's in the conjunction with the river trail also.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
That's why they named it the Trailhead, because it kind of starts and ends there at that end of town, and the cold beer and wine too.
I'm excited about that.
David, do you have a date when that's going to open?
The date has been a moving target, because we had planned on it a lot earlier in the semester, and we had hoped to have it done in April for our recall or our homecoming activities, but that didn't work out. So they're looking at early August, hopefully before school starts, but that's with our fingers crossed.
All right, you bet.
Other questions?
Stephen, I'd encourage you to continue to look at that food truck idea. The city has I wouldn't say relaxed their rules, but is encouraging food trucks and has looked closely at their rules to make it something that's more doable for people. So please keep looking at that. But my real question is, tell us about your pit. Do you have a pit at the Hunt store?
Do. So we cook everything on a real barbecue pit, like the tires, and it's a tube pit. It's got a smoker on the end. We don't have real big barbecue pits, and I don't have a rotisserie cooker, which a lot of the guys that are doing large volume can do rotisserie cookers when you go to a really high volume barbecue place. And so that limits us. So when I talk about serving sandwiches, I don't have the volume or the ability on that pit. I can only cook 4 to 5 briskets at a time, and 5 to 6 pork butts to do a plate. And so people say all the time, do you have barbecue plates? It's like, I don't. I have sandwiches because we're limited in the volume. But it also is me paying attention and out there in the morning, lighting the fire and getting those meat products going, and then getting with the guys who are in the store so we can get consistent product out each time. But it's a standard barbecue pit. It's a Lifetime barbecue pit that's got 3 doors and a smokestack on it. And I've got one of those at the Hunt store, and I have one at our location in Camp Wood. But everything we do is real wood, real pit, somebody really paying attention and watching that so we can get good product consistently.
Are you going to do smoked turkeys for Thanksgiving?
I can. We've done them in Camp Wood, and we've done a lot of smoked turkeys through the smoker. It'll be something we have to order well in advance. Now that one is in a smoker that we can control, because there's a lot of hazards associated with turkeys and when you get into poultry and smoking poultry. So rather than doing that on a barbecue pit, we'll do that in a commercial smoker that we have, that we do sausage and whatnot in. But we should have those available in the Christmas and during the holidays.
Any chance you guys will ever do smoked fish?
Smoked fish? I don't know that it's going to come up anytime soon. The rules get a little bit different when you get into fish and poultry. Those are because of the parasites and because the bacteria is different in those. They're a little harder to produce and to make sure that you're serving the public safety. And there's a lot more rules when it comes to the Food Standards Act, Safety and Food Standards Act, associated with fish and associated with poultry. And so that's something you got to make sure you're on the whole time, especially if you're doing a process as slow as smoking.
Yeah.
Stephen, on behalf of the Convention Visitors Bureau, we do promote the Hunt store, but we need to make certain we're getting your information on your your entertainment so that we can keep that on our calendar of events and keep that on the website available to the public.
What's my bet? I've been wondering that. I'm posting events on the Facebook page for the Hunt store, but I haven't found where there's a universal, maybe you are it, where there's a universal place where I can get information out that says, what's there to do in Kerrville this weekend?
Yeah, we have that. It's Kerrville, Texas, with Texas spelled out, and we'll reach out to you.
Okay.
CVB is in CharlieVictorBravo.com.
Wonderful. I've got some maps that I've brought over there for the Hill Country tour and the ride that have King's Texas Smokehouse and our information on them. And hopefully we'll get the Hunt store included in a route to that as well. But yeah, I would love to get more information out.
We'll look forward to working with you on that.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Other questions?
I've got one quick question for you, Stephen.
Other questions?
I do. I was looking at that sandwich first and foremost, and that thing is a beast. But your website has your steaks on it that are cut the width of a playing card. Do you offer those in Hunt?
I do. Those steaks, particularly on that website, are a dry aged steak. And so sometimes we take special orders from customers who want a 28-day dry aged or a 30-day, various dry aged steaks. And those were, a friend of mine had a wedding and he wanted steaks dry aged and cut, and we can do dry aging as well. But we do hand cut steaks to order when you go to the Hunt store, and we can get those produced and out. As a matter of fact, Vista Camps called me today and said, hey, we need 6.5 inch ribeyes. Like, all right, I can get them cut for you. We can hand cut any kind of steaks you want. We can special order if you have a big event coming up. We can special order and make sure that we get those to your specifications as well. And I hand cut all that meat myself so that I make sure that it's going to be quality and right. We also have what I call utility or everyday meat. We'll have chuck roast, stew meat, some round roasts, pork loin, pork chops, and we've got those as well. And what I typically do is cut in on Mondays. I'll cut in a more day-to-day menu that people can stop by and they want to make for during the week. And then on the weekends, I'll convert that meat case over to hand-cut steaks and more of a grilling type variety. We offer steaks as well as we'll have all the vegetables there typically that are used for grilling along with that. So onions and some zucchini and some corn on the cob and things you can put on the grill as well.
Wonderful. Well, we'll come see you for some steaks.
Awesome. Thank you.
We've got time for maybe one more question with one more response. Anybody else have a question for Stephen?
Stephen, can you tell what your hours and day of operations are out at the Hunt store?
Oh, thank you so much. There's been a lot of confusion around that. The hours of operation, I've pushed the hours to where anytime you come to the Hunt store, you should be able to come in and enjoy a lunch or a dinner. The hours for the cafe are from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday or Sunday through Thursday. And then Fridays and Saturdays we're open till 9, typically live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then on the store hours, the store opens at 7 a.m. and we'll close at 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday and at 9 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. So we've really extended the Hunt store hours to make sure that anytime somebody comes through Hunt, they can stop and get either a lunch, pick up a snack, get gas, whatever they need.
All right. Well, very well, Stephen. Thank you for your time today. We appreciate the opportunity to get better acquainted and get to know your product and your new location better. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure joining you guys and seeing so many familiar faces in Rotary Club. I appreciate you.
And congratulations to each of your children on their scholarships.
Thank you so much. I was really moved. It's when you're starting a business, it's those times of year where you're starting a business and you find out that, wow, it's not, it doesn't come together instantly. A lot of times there's a lot of struggle getting business started and you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay for your kids and how you're going to get them through college. And you guys have certainly made that a blessing for us. So thank you for what you do for our community and what you do for families, especially those of us that are starting new businesses and during COVID.
All right. Well, nothing like a challenge.
Right.
Okay. Moving along, Stephanie Miller, are you with us today? And do we have Families in Rotary report?
I don't have anything. Just want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day for all those fathers that are out there.
You bet. I agree with that too. Happy Father's Day to each of you. All right. We had a very successful golf tournament for the fundraiser for the first responders yesterday. Jeff Harris, you want to report on that, please, sir?
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, phone calls, emails, text messages about what a great event it was and how everybody was just really happy to support the first responders. Had an email sent out to about 150 members at River Hill saying, if you haven't played it, you better play it next year because it's worth it. And roughly looking at the numbers right now, before any expenses, about $31,000 is what we brought in before any expenses. So really a positive effort, and thank you for everybody that helped support and played. And I hope everybody that did had a great time. And Christy, you're a rock star. I've already said it to you once today, but she's out there running putting tournaments, getting cash, throwing cash. I mean, she's just going crazy. So thank you.
I believe we had 84 players and 21 teams on Monday.
That is correct. And a lot of people stepped up in the community and sponsored, and some people didn't even play or show up, but they were sending checks into us. So it's really a positive thing for that.
All right, very well. Thanks, Jeff. Want to remind everybody that we have the club picnic next week on the 25th, on June 25th. That'll be a week from tomorrow evening at the Diedert Center. We'll be both inside and outside so that anyone concerned about being a little too close to one another indoors can participate outside on the patio. That's June 25th. I believe there is a sign-up sheet for that so that we'll have an idea of how many folks are going to be attending. And then we have an opportunity that doesn't come along very often. In fact, I'm not sure this has ever happened before, but each one of you will have an opportunity to participate in the Rotary International Convention this weekend. There's an invitation online for that also. So if you're interested in getting in on some of the virtual sessions or the opening ceremony over the weekend, please look for that invitation and participate. This is the convention that was scheduled to be in Honolulu and was canceled due to the coronavirus, but we're all going to have the opportunity to attend and to participate virtually. So please take advantage of that opportunity. Also want to thank the district and our club. We had another district grant that was completed this week. Our club purchased 2 bass fiddles for the Hill Country Youth Orchestra. These are bass fiddles that are not affordable, most likely, for most of our youth orchestra members, and the youth orchestras wanted to get those bass fiddles for some time, so we were able to get bass fiddles and bows for our string for the string department, thanks to a district grant and a joint venture with our club. I want to thank George Eichner also for working with that project and helping that become a reality.
Well, let me thank you and the club for the initiative. One of the neat things about these bass fiddles is they're quarter size, which means they're 1/4 the size of the real one. And so what that means is a kid that's like 8 or 9, 10 years old can learn how to play the bass fiddle. And one for these, that's one reason probably why there's not very many bass players, because you got to be 5, 6 foot tall before you can handle that dude. So God bless you guys for your support. Sure appreciate it.
It'll be interesting to come out to the youth orchestra concerts. We have 2 of those a year, and at the Callow Center, and those are free as a general rule. Aren't I correct on that, George?
You bet. Yeah, they're free.
So come out and watch the students playing the bass fiddles. Give them a little time to get used to them and practice up on them. But that's one contribution our club, in conjunction with the district, has made. Okay. Also want to remind everyone that tomorrow we have another city manager and mayor's prayer vigil at noon. Encourage everybody to participate in that. We also want to encourage each of you to sign the petition for precinct 2 for alcohol. You're not, when you're signing the petition, you're not voting, you're just signing the petition, asking that item be included on the election agenda. Also, if you have not paid your dues, please do so. We're getting most of those caught up, but we have a few that are still outstanding, so please check. If you have not done so, please pay your dues. Next week, we have, we'll be going back to the Kroc Center. And we'll have a joint meeting. We'll have a Zoom meeting and an actual meeting. This will be our installation of new officers along with my year-end report. So if, and there's an invitation, I believe, Chris, am I correct on that, Christy, that we have an invitation for that to determine how many people will be coming out to lunch that day?
Well, right now, the plan is
If not,
just
can we
to
do
have-
so?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to do this, and I think this is one of the things as a club we have to decide. We'd love to be able to do the Zoom as well as have people meet in person, but we want everyone to be comfortable, obviously. We also have a certain number of meals that we order every week, so I think I'm trying to figure out how that can work without more logistical issues. Let's put it that
The Kroc
way.
Center has the cameras and everything in place. All we have to do is send the invitation.
Right, and that's perfect. I David Rittenhouse, you need to work with the Kroc Center.
Why do I need to work with the Kroc Center?
Well, because you and Gerald are the technology committee.
I'm sorry, I will not be there.
Okay.
I consider this extremely unsafe.
Okay.
Well, that's the reason that we have the option, Dave, so that we want everybody
Yeah,
to
I know.
participate. But we would, now the Kroc Center has gone a long, long way. They've worked very hard to make sure it's safe. We normally have tables of 10. There'll be tables of 5.
I don't see how they can do that.
Well, they have. I've been out and looked. It looks good. They've got only limited to tables of 5. Their buffet is not going to be in the hall. You'll go through the kitchen and be served. They've done a lot to make certain that it's as safe as it possibly can be. But those that do not want to attend can attend virtually. Like I say, we'll have my final year's end report. We will be installing the new officers. Tammy, are you online today?
She is.
Yes.
Have you selected, do we know who the installation officer will be next week?
Yes, I'll get with you afterwards. I've asked somebody and I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good, Tammy. And then by all means, participate on July 1st. That will be Tammy's first day as president of the club. She will be outlining what her goals are for the year. We're going to have an outstanding year next year with Tammy at the helm. So be sure and participate in the meeting on July 1st also. Do we have any other announcements? Seeing none, Paul, good to have you with us again.
Bill Richter.
Thanks, sir. Nice to be with you.
Bill,
Appreciate it.
you bet. Good to have you with us also, Bill.
Stephen King. I think he'd be a good Rotarian.
Yeah, I do too.
I thought the same thing. All right, very well. Well, we've had another good meeting today. If you will, please join me in the 4-way test of the things that we think, say
or do.
Is
Is
it
it
the
truth?
fair to all
Fair to all
concerned?
concerned.
Will it build better
Friendships.
friendships? Will it be beneficial to all
Concerned.
Have a great week. Have a productive week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Good week.
We are adjourned.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.